everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Isabelle from Isabelle Nursery. So before we begin with this part 3, um, let's say that it was a difficult journey for me to film this. First, I lost my footage. Second, I literally can't put it on YouTube because the light was so terrible. Third time I was able to do something, but with another kit because I always paint the Sweetie kit. So I put it on YouTube and realized that there was no sound on the videos. Everything was great on my video editor, but on YouTube it seems that the sound was not there, and I haven't noticed it until yesterday. So I have had to find a way to do my tutorial without painting another kit because I already have paint two just for this. So what I have done is to take the kit I was painting in my tutorial in French and cut the part where I do undertones and vein. So that's what you will see here. Um, Hopefully it will be okay to follow. It will be enough clear, I hope. So jump in the tutorial. As you see, I take my blue wash for doing the undertone, and I add a little bit of blue just to make it a bit darker than just the wash alone. The wash is not enough enough dark for the undertone, so I would just add a tiny bit of blue in my wash. You can use any blue you want. It's not really a matter. Use the one you have on hand. So I mix it very well. Sometimes I add a little more medium if it's too concentrate. So that's what I want as color. I will show you the difference between the wash and my undertone blue. It's not a really big difference. So you see that the wash is a little less pigmented. Undertones is put generally where the skin is thinner to show some shadow and some uh, transparency of the skin is if it's the right word. So I just put on the temple and on top of the eyebrow like a big triangle. You will see each kit is different. Some have really great detail in the skull that show you where to put undertones. Some other are less detailed. You will have to judge judge by yourself and find a way to put your color to make it more realist. So I do the exact same on the other side, just on top of the eyebrow and toward the ear, kind of a big triangle. That that blue will give the kit really the appearance of real skin. Someplace the skin is more thin. Um, I put some on the corner of the eyes. Sometimes I can go a bit under the eyes, not every kit. It really depends on the face of the sculpt. You can easily find online some chart for the blue and yellow undertones. I know there is one on Bountiful Baby Forum. You can do a search, you will find it. I put some on top of the nose, the bridge of the nose. As often you will see a newborn baby and even older baby have some blue vein that pass across the nose. And you can do as many layers that you want to achieve the look you want. Be careful with the blue. It stain very much, so be gentle with it. Uh, don't do too much layer, and it's better to come back after a few skin layer and add more if you feel that it's not enough. If you do too much blue right in the beginning, it's very difficult to correct later. So less is better, and you can adjust uh, later if you want. I put some often in the corner of the mouth and under the lips, just over the chin, in the little crease under the lip. So it's very subtle at this stage. I don't want it to be too strong. I may come back later and add some. Don't forget, if you have an open mouth, to go inside of the mouth and inside the nostril with your blue. That's a good way to add the shading in those places. Um, Usually I put some on the ears. Um, it's up to you. Some ears are not very detailed, so it's maybe more difficult to find the place to put the blue. Everywhere where the skin is really, really thin, you put some blue. Some people like very high-colored newborn. Um, but with blue, what happens is if you do too much blue, that will not look like a healthy baby. So be careful with that. It's okay to have eye color baby, but with the blue, it's a bit more tricky. So I do the inside the hand, the palm, a bit on the wrist. You can add some under the finger, between the finger. It's up to you to do that if you want a really more realistic baby. Here I just do show you the basic because it's a beginner tutorial, so I do not want it to be too much to learn at one time. So I just show you the basic where put the undertones. If you have full arms, you can put some blue under the arm. And if you want to have a more newborn looking baby, you can add blue on the top of the head. Sorry, the end. I mix my word. Can add some blue, some purple later if you want to. For the foot, it's about the same thing as the hand. So I put blue on the sole of the foot. Not all the sole, just the curve inside. I don't know how to say it. I put some in the inside where the foot curve. I often put some on the ankle and beside the little ankle bone. Don't put too much blue on the foot like the hand because it will look unhealthy. This foot is not very detailed, it's not very realistic, so it's hard to put all the blue where it's supposed to go. I put blue behind the knee. Don't forget to pounce it when you put your paint with the brush because it will make drop that will dry there. It will be difficult to remove after. If you have a full leg, like for the arm, you can put a little bit of blue in the inside of the leg, the thigh. So for this kit, I also have a belly plate. So I will show the undertones on this belly plate. You may not see it again in the next part because I will um, go ahead with my sweetie kit because I have done already the video for the modeling, but it will give you an idea. It's about all the same for every color. The belly plate is no different except for the undertones and veining. That's where it has a difference in the coloring. So I put blue under the arm, in the between the bone. I don't know how to say it. Over the belly and under the belly on the pubis and just over the belly button. That's the place where I usually put blue undertones. Sorry for my dog. He's a bit excited because of the cat. Oui, Tom Tom, chut. Non, non, chut, tu parles pas. Sorry for that. So go ahead with the yellow undertones. I use my yellow wash and I don't add yellow to it. I use it just like that, because yellow, it's a really strong color. It always stain the vinyl, so I do not add more to it. I use it straight like that. I do not use a lot of yellow undertones. I use it to accentuate the place where the light will uh, reverb on the face, and where often the bones are. The skin is really thin on the bone, so I will use it on the top of the eyebrow, not under the eyebrow, really on the top, just a little bit. Don't put all over the eyebrow, just on top. Do the same the other side. Don't forget to bounce a bit. Do not rub your sponges. Just go gently to remove any excess paint. I put some yellow on top of the nose, the tip of the nose. Again, not all the tip, not all the nose, just on top of it, where the light is more bright. And often I put a little bit on top of the cheek, the cheekbone. I put some on the chin, again, really on top of the chin. As you can see, it's really not that uh, pigmented. It's really just a little bit. I don't want my kit to look yellow. Just want some brightness. I put some on the ear, on the cartilage. The same principle. I will not show you yellow undertone on the limbs. I know we can use yellow undertone on some part of the limbs, but I will not show that here because, like I said previously, I mean it to be a beginner tutorial and don't want to have beginners to be overwhelmed with too much information to keep in memory. There is a sweetie, I have done the yellow undertone. You may be able to see it more because the kit is really pale compared to Estelle with MacPherson kit. Sweetie is a bountiful baby kit and they are always very pale. So you see the difference between the two. And I have used the same exact same yellow. So now for the veining, as I have already blue mixed for the undertones, I keep this blue and will just add a bit of teal in this blue. You can use different blue to add, or even a purple, or you can go with a bit of green. But for my vein, I really prefer to use teal. What I was saying in the original video is just when you have mixed your color, keep it on a little container. Just to have it on end for the rest of the kit, or if you plan to do more than one kit, so you will not have to mix the color again for each part or each kit. Sure, you cannot keep it very long, but it's useful for if you plan to work on more kit in a short period of time, or even for the same kit. If you want to do not want to remix the color every single layer, you have to keep it some. So as you see, just a little bit of teal. I adjust my color as I go. I have no recipe for doing that. I just go with my eye. So I adjust when I feel that the color is correct for my taste. I I usually do not add much more medium or water sometimes because I don't want it to be too strong. Sometimes I add a little bit of medium, and I always do test on a paper towel to adjust the color. This time it was a little bit too dark, so I add a touch of medium. I do not add water because water tends to make the paint to bead, and I really don't like it for making vein. I like it to be very straight. And don't forget to add retarder or slow dry. It's very important. When you put a vein, you don't do a straight line. You do very squiggly lines. I don't know how to say that. You see, it's just like roots, and then you dab it to smooth the edge of the line. It's really important to have a smooth edge and smooth end of the vein, because what happens with the acrylic paint is that it's drying fast, so you don't want the side of the line to dry before the middle of the line. Not sure if I'm clear, but if you practice on the test limb, you will see what I mean. If you want to be sure the color is okay and not too strong, go on the neck flange, and like for most of the layers we apply on the kit, it's better to do less pigmented, less concentrate than too much. You want your vein to be natural and subtle. You don't want them to be like dark straight lines. It does not look good at all. If you look at yourself, you will see that your vein show more in some place than other. So you will look at that for a reference, and you will see that they are not so strong. So I do some line that begin like roots. I have no other word to explain that. Roots are water. When rivers go in a different direction, the branch. It's about the same. And as for the undertone, the same. You can easily find some veining chart online, Pinterest or Google or Bountiful Baby forum. you will find information for the vein uh, where they are. But for the head, it's not a necessity to have the exact position, because often we will do hair on top of the head, so you will not see them anyway, unless you want it bald. But even that, there's not really a way to do it on top of the head. It's really as your taste. You can have fun and play and try different things. Have Like you see there, I do some fine lines and some more wide lines. Look at your vein, you will see that some are really larger than other, and even some different color from one another. For the forehead, I go about the corner of the eye, each side of the nose, and I joint a vein on the top of the head. And be careful with airdry. Do not do a lot of vein without pouncing them, because if you do too much at a time, you will not have the time to pounce and to smooth them, and you will have too strong vein, or with the edge will be more darker than the center of the line. It will not look good. I do from the corner of the eyes toward the ear, or the reverse is not important, but some veins are showing on the side of the face near the eye. I try to do symmetrical veining on the face, but it's not always easy. So try your best to do about the same on the other side. The more I watch this kit, the more I like it. I find the face really adorable. I dislike the limb, but the face is really adorable. She looks so peaceful. So don't be too AVN on the vein. Don't forget to put some on the bridge of the nose. Like I said earlier, there's a vein that pass on top of that. Even with older baby, you will have that. My daughter is 6 years old, and I really see this vein is really apparent, uh, really show. Now for the end, you can look at your end and see where the vein goes. You can try to use it as a reference. You will see that in each end your veining is not exactly the same, but try to use that as a model to do your vein. You can do the same with your feet. So I have a vein that go from the thumb toward the middle of the arm, and another one that go more at the side, and they join like kind of a W or H. So I try to do something similar, the kit. can do under the arm. And if you don't see vein on yourself, you have trouble to figure it out. If you want, you can look for a real baby picture to look at them and see where you see the veining. If it's your first reborn, or you plan to keep it for yourself, or you are very, very at the beginning is your first, uh, don't worry if they are not exactly placed at the right place. It's not really that important. Just have fun doing them. That will be okay. If you plan to sell and you're still like a beginner intermediate, that's not very much an issue if the veins are not at the right place. As long as it's similar, that's okay. Um, People buyer don't notice those things the most of the time, so it's not a problem. But if you want to sell your doll at a high price, you may want to look more in detail where the veins are placed. It's maybe more important. Now for the feet. I do vein the same as for the N. I just do kind of a W on top with some branches go on the side of the foot. As you can see, my paint is really thin. It's not too pigmented. If you have trouble seeing the vein later on with more layer of paint on top, just go ahead and do another layer of vein on top of the one you have made. It's better than going too dark. You cannot go back with vein. It's too dark, it's too dark. So it's better to be safe than sorry. I do some vein on the side of the leg. Sometimes I go under the foot. You can do some on the thigh. It's not too much because you will not see much veining there in real life. So just one or two. They may be more wide because they are large vein. On the leg, the vein are larger than on top of the hand, for example. And you do the same with the other foot. So now the belly plate. I do some veining across the belly. Uh, I go with the flow. Like I'm not sure really where to put them. I may have to look more in detail where to put them exactly. I know there's a vein that pass really through the belly. But I try not to overdo them too. So there's not too much vein on the belly. And the same if you have a back plate or a full torso. Do not put too much veining there. Keep it simple. So that's about that for the veining. I hope you could have seen what I have done this time, and I hope I will not have trouble to upload this video this time. The fourth time is enough for me. I I do not want to do a fifth time, and that's enough. I'm tired. So the next videos you will see, I will come back with Sweetie and show you how I done mottling layer, and after the mottling we will go to shading and blushing. So after that we'll do crease. That's about that. So I will let you on that. I just touch up this kit with a little more blue at some place. It's up to you. And I hope that has been helpful. Sorry, I think I'm tired. I cannot speak anymore. So to the next time. Have a nice day. Goodbye.